So happy together. I can't really sing.
How you doing?
Here we are.
These are the times that try all men's souls. Is that the line?
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. Intel announced their 13th gen stuff yesterday, Paul. And I am very, very happy to report that power consumption has gone up if you're going to be maxing
Of course it
that.
has.
Maxing
Because
that
what
thing
they've
out.
discovered is they're really good at power cores. Performance cores, probably, whatever they're called.
Yeah, they really just kind of just slap more cores in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had people, we had this discussion about the 12th gen stuff, and I was talking about cores and efficiency cores and performance cores, and I'm not a hardware guy, and I was just, but you know what I do is I review it like a ton of laptops. I literally have over a dozen laptops in my house right now for review, and I'll tell you, what I have is real world experience with these things, and 12th gen does not perform the same as the previous gens, and it's very clear something's off. And I don't really see many people writing about this. I'm the only one that seems to be mentioning it, but it's very obvious to me. I don't have I was going to say the words. I don't have the knowledge of their architecture and how things work to know, but it will not surprise anyone. Well, it will not surprise me to discover that what Intel is figuring out is we have to keep adding cores. And then we'll get there. And it's, I'll just say this very briefly. I'm sorry, I know I'm going on and on, but U series, H series used to be the thing. Now there's a P series in the middle. I think they needed P series to get performance that they used to get out of U series because of the new architecture change. I think that's why that exists. It's a higher wattage, it draws more power. They have to do a lot more power management to kill the battery life. And I think in general, what you're going to see is that most mainstream 12th gen Intel based PCs this year will get lower battery life because of this change. It will probably fix itself over time. I think it's something they will figure out. It's something with almost infinite resources, but the first stab at it, and I'm telling you, it's just a lot. And the few U series ones I've used so far, they're powered. They get good battery life, but they're not at the same level they used to be.
The other interesting thing that they announced too, which we've seen these from Dell and other people, it's called Intel Unison, which is effectively like the Dell mobile companion app. We've seen it with your phone.
Right, which by the way is going away. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. I wonder if it's because they knew this was coming, or I wonder if Intel just bought it from them, which would be hilarious and a whole separate thing. But anyways, the Android stuff is whatever because Android PC overlap has been there, but they're claiming that it will work with iOS too, including text messages, which
would be huge
if it
works. If it works, right? So this has been a frustration with Microsoft and what are they calling your PC now? It's still called the Your PC. No, it isn't.
Your phone.
What's it called? They changed the name. Your phone, Your PC. Yeah. Your phone, which is not called Phone Link. Sorry. Because I don't use it because I have an iPhone. So surely a company with Microsoft's resources could license, buy, or figure out a solution to this problem. And I keep, anytime I say that or write that, someone says, yeah, but Apple blocks that. It's like, yeah, but there are other things that do it. So someone figured it out.
The key here is that they said SMS. They didn't say iMessage, which if you're an Apple user, there's a big difference.
Still, I'm contrarian enough that I have disabled iMessage. I message a lot with normal people. As a Windows user, I would take that.
Yeah. It's better than nothing. I mean, let's be real clear. It's better than nothing.
What if it was just SMS when it would only be SMS when you're on your computer anyway? So you could still iMessage on your phone, like a little, an emoji sending goon. Or you could.
What?
I was hoping you'd catch that. Or send text messages like a man. Away.
Like a man. I use Morse code actually, Paul Theron. I actually captured a sparrow in my backyard, and I just poke him, and that's how I get my tweets.
Jeez, okay. Well, that's nice. I think there are birds specifically designed for that, but whatever, that's fine.
Either way, we don't. Here's the other thing. They didn't exactly announce when this stuff's coming. Like the desktop chip stuff, they announced the pricing. It's coming relatively soon-ish, but Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you follow the normal release policy, right, it will be desktops in time of the holidays.
Yep.
What used to be just U series, but we'll call it mobile U P series in announced the CS and spring.
Yep.
By the way, sorry to interrupt this Intel conversation. Did you see this thing about sliding displays?
Yes, I did. Like they
So
pulled
this
it out like a
is,
old C scroll, and they're like,
yeah, I actually think that's. I have been saying for a long time that like folding displays are kind of the future for something. You know, that you have a phone that you can open up and you're in the car and you get bigger maps, or
yeah,
you're on a plane and you have a bigger whatever for playing a game or reading a book or watching a movie, whatever. But you know, this actually makes even more sense. You think about putting a phone onto your dashboard somehow with a clip or whatever, and you slide the thing out.
yeah.
Nice. Like that's, I would say it's a logic. Well, I didn't never saw it coming, but it's an extension of or an evolution of folding displays. Certainly,
I agree.
it happened pretty quick. I thought we were going to be kind of in a folding screen era here, but maybe this sliding thing makes more sense.
Well, what would be great is when
cool.
you're on a road trip and your spouse is sitting next to you and like unscrolling this thing, trying to find on the map where you are, just like the old times.
Right, using the map. It's like it's right. That'll be the first app, a map where you have to unfold it. No, but I mean, you know, movies, whatever. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think in the right application, it could be very. It's hard to say it's going to be a bad thing. I mean, they're far from you buying one that fits in your pocket, but
yeah,
you can at least see the novelty of it. To me, and I think you're on the same page.
well, and the eventual use of it, right? I mean,
yeah, I think
look, we've been talking about this future where phones are the PC, and there have been continuum or continuity, whatever these words are. I don't know. Samsung has their own thing, et cetera, but there's hurdles to get over, and some of those hurdles involve just making those phone OSs make sense for that kind of thing. But one of them is just the display stuff. Like not too long ago, it was a cool idea, USB-C dock, external screen, keyboard, mouse, cool. But if you could, eliminating the screen part of that is kind of interesting. And you could imagine in the future someone, pulling out their phone basically, and maybe they travel with a little Bluetooth keyboard and they get work done like that. I mean, it's the dream. It's there are many pieces that have to fall into place there.
Mm-hmm. Also announced yesterday, which you'll see, this is going to be a fantastic segue. So the Edge team announced basically a native API that allows you to skin or adjust the Chrome, as sometimes we call it, on a window browser. So when you do a PWA, it makes so you can make it look more negative. Look more.
You could make it look more negative, Brad, but yes,
look more native. Now this is extremely relevant to an announcement coming from Stardock. Actually, today was not timed with this. Like we didn't have any pre-brief on this. Like we're actually announcing window blinds for Windows 11 today, and we will more than likely be taking use or at least a closer look at how Microsoft has implemented this for PWAs. So,
right. So. Story about this, but the one thing I've been sort of thinking about doing was writing like smaller articles about programming, just little like bits, like a little thing, So one of the things I'm really interested in is WinUI 3 stuff, and which is like kind of the native UI for Windows these days. It's actually a lot harder to implement, at least to my monkey brain, than if you feel like maybe it should be. But one of the many things you can do with a modern app is what they're describing, where you have that title bar area with the buttons, but you can do stuff in there. So instead of having like an actual bar across the top, you can have like a toolbar in there. You can have tabs. You can have different things, different UI. It's actually, you can do this in UWP. You can do it in WinUI 3 with whatever Project Reunion's called, Windows App SDK. A little complex to my taste, but it's one of those things, once you figure out, you just kind of do it. And that's what they're talking about doing for PWA. It's like giving you that part of the UI and having I'm going to call it an API. It's not really an API, but it's basically just CSS or whatever that allows you to fill in things up in there. It works cross-platform, by the way, which is actually the thing that is most interesting. So if you have a Mac or Linux, and you can still use that area, and it will understand the system you're on and how the controls that are already there are laid out differently, et cetera, et cetera. So this is actually very interesting. And I was thinking about writing, like, here's how you do this in like for a native app, and what does it look like to do this for a web app? That kind of thing. I'm very curious about this. It's anything that makes a web app more native-like, I think, is a good idea.
No, I absolutely agree, because I use 2 of them daily.
to native or to web apps.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out a good example of an app that uses that area uniquely. I mean, Microsoft, that's not a good example. Well, Microsoft
iOS
Word
16,
is a good example.
Dynamic Island.
No. I mean, on Windows. I'm sure it is.
I know.
There are examples out there. I'm sure it won't surprise anybody. Maybe the new File Explorer coming, the October update, right? That has tabs up in that area, right? There's a little implementation of customizing the title bar area. Does Windows 11 support tabs in File Explorer? Brad
Yes,
says,
it does.
knowing the answer.
And it supports widgets on the taskbar.
Right. What does that mean, by the way?
It means that if you have widgets on your taskbar, like you can still skin behind them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because, right, you mean the little, like the cloudy thing or something.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
This is the nightmare that it is. Like shipping this product's actually, it's nerve-wracking because we already know that the insider builds break some of what Window Blinds does because they have the XAML islands turned on and like people don't realize that shipping a Windows applications like we do today is far more laborious than it used to be. Used to be like you just ship it, it's done. Nope.
Let me give you one example why that's true. There are 2 versions of Windows 11, technically. There are 3 versions of File Explorer that have occurred in that time frame or will be soon. And I don't know about the taskbar and the start menu and things like that as much, but those things have changed as well. And so I would imagine that you as an application developer have to account for all of those things, plus whatever changes occurred in different versions of Windows 10.
Yep. And now
and so
on the flip side of that, the other side of that, support becomes a nightmare because people will write in, they'll open a support ticket or whatever, and they'll be like, hey, it's broken on Windows 11. And we're like, okay, what does that mean? Are you on an insider build, which we technically do not support, although we all run insider stuff because we know we got to support it eventually, but it's not supported there live. Are you on 21? Are you on retail? You're 22H2. Do you have tabs? Do you have, if you click on the system tray, can you rearrange the items in there so we know which version of the task? Like it's.
So I think we talked about this. Ooh. I think you and I did, but one of the things that Microsoft kind of threw out very casually in their discussion about 22H2 is this notion that developers will be able to test for whether these features are available. So one of the things, this is kind of interesting, like if you know the most likely build that you probably have if you're on 22H2 is 22621, 521. Although there are at least 2 other build numbers out in the world and different conditions might result in you having a different smaller number, the number to the right of the dot. I downloaded a KB file from over the summer that enables tabs in File Explorer, and I did that so I could take screenshots of it for the book because I just want to. It's coming out in a month. Like I just want to make sure I have this. There are some bugs, but I just went to the About box yesterday on this computer, which is one of the computers I did this on, and the file, the build number I have is 22622. Right. So this is part of that. It must be from the beta chain. It must be, they have features on, features off kind of thing. So this is like an enablement thing where it enables some of the features that will be coming in this October update. Like I've had, what's the other one? Suggested actions is another one I can see. And that's something this is one of the ways that you as an app developer can test for that kind of stuff. I don't know what the build number will be after we have the October update. I don't believe it will be 22622 or whatever, but that's something you have to know. The
insanity is 3 months from now, we have to do it all again.
Yes, that's right. Depending on what those features are, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully a lot of them are just apps and stuff. But yeah, every time you're part of a dying breed, really. I mean, you're customizing the Windows UI and doing it as a company that actually supports customers. You're not just an individual throwing crap on the web. I think we've only touched at the tip of the iceberg on the complexity to this. It's can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So, have fun with that.
Yeah, we
Good
will. Anyways, I'm going to go get a drink. And I'm not talking water.
It's 9:17.
It's fine.